Hey there YouTube fans, AC Productions here, and today we're going to be working on a Suzuki GSXR 600 and changing the levers from this to this in no time. So let's get started. Okay, tools needed for this job will be screwdriver, ratchet, extension with a 10mm socket, and also a Phillips. Okay, first what you want to do is use your ratchet with your 10mm socket to this bolt right here. Alright, let's get that off. Alright, looks like it's too long. Sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't. I guess in this case we don't. Okay, after you get that bolt out, next thing you want to do is grab your screwdriver and take out this screw right here. Okay, just pull it out and then put that bolt off to the side, and then take out your lever. Okay, next what you want to do is just grab a towel and clear out the plunger here, because you're going to put a little bit of lubricant on there. And then don't forget the bolt that you have taken out. You may also want to clean that too. Bolt right here. So get that towel and just clean all the old grease off of there, because you're going to put some new grease onto this bolt. Okay. Also, on these new levers, you're going to see inside the lever there's going to be like this little pivot joint inside right there. So you may want to get something pointy. I'm just using some solder, something pointy to align it, so when you put the lever on, you want to make sure that the little pivot joint in there meets up with the plunger for the brakes. Okay. And also, since you're already here, it'd be a good time to take out this little plunger here and inspect the end of it to make sure that you have enough grease on the other side. And as you can see, looks like there's no grease in there whatsoever. So let's put a little dab of grease in there to make sure everything's all lubricated and properly seated. Alright, so let's put our dab of grease on there. You want to put a little bit of grease onto the ball right here too. So we'll get a little bit of grease on there. Doesn't have to be a lot, just enough. Okay, now that you got your grease in there, then just put your little plunger right back in. And there you go. Okay, next what you want to do is put a little dab of grease on the plunger itself. Just a little bit. I want to make sure that all the parts that are going to be touching are greased just a little bit to prevent any unnecessary grinding of parts here. Alright. Okay, now get your lever, and like I said, there's going to be a little pivot joint inside there. So you can zoom in there. Just get something pointy and then just make sure you have it centered for your plunger to go in there. Alright, let's get that in there. Alright, now before you really set it in there, you want to get your bolt that you took out earlier, and also you're going to have to want to put some grease on that too. So just grab your bolt, a little bit of grease, and just slightly coat the whole entire bolt. Okay, next you want to put back your bolt, your 10mm. Okay, after you put everything back together there, Just make sure that everything's okay. That concludes our brake side. Now let's get over to the clutch side. Okay, now before we take out the lever on the clutch side, if you see that Phillips screw right there, that's the screw we're going to be taking out. And the reason for that is, as you start loosening up the clutch cable, if you notice that when I spin it, it contacts this metal piece. And that's so it doesn't loosen up while you're riding. So the quicker way to undo this without having to have it click on this is just remove this screw right here, take the whole piece out, and it'll be a lot easier to undo the clutch cable. Okay, now on the clutch side, you want to get the bolt out right there. That's the bolt you want to take out, 10mm socket. Okay, once you take the bolt out, just pop this up, take that off. Okay, after you take the bolt out, you want to make sure you clean it off, clean all the old grease and all the old dirt off, so you can apply new grease. Okay, and at this point, you want to start loosening up the clutch cable. Okay, once you tighten it up all the way, you want to make sure you line up the slots here, right here, this little channel, because that's where your clutch cable is going to come out of. Okay, so what you want to do is pull on your clutch cable this way, and then take it out, and then just slide out your lever, flip it over, and then just pull the rest of your clutch cable out. Okay, upon inspection of the clutch lever, if you have a lever, an aftermarket lever that has this bronze little shim in there, you may want to think about replacing that one with your original. Your original looks like this. The reason I say this is because when you put your bolt back in, if you notice when you put it in this one, your aftermarket, you could see there's a lot of play. And that play is going to transfer into your lever doing this while you're riding, and you don't want any play like this on your bike. You want it to be as close to OEM as possible. So what you want to do is take out this little brass shim out of there. Just pop this one out of your original. Oh, before I do that, just to show you, if you see on your original, when you put your bolt in there, it's pretty tight. It's not going anywhere. So that's what you want for your new levers. So just pop this little shim out of there. So there it goes, pops right out. Clear all the old grease off of it, because you're going to put some new grease on there, just a dab. And then, like I said, take this one out, and this one, if anything, should just slide right in there. If not, you may want to just tap it to get it in there. Okay, after you get this little collar out, all you need to do is just get a hammer and then just get something a similar size. I used this one because it's pretty much a similar size to this one, and just tapped it out. So take it out. Then before you put this one on, you want to make sure you get a little bit of grease just to put it on there, and also it'll keep it in place. So just put a little bit of grease all over. Thin layer, doesn't have to be that much. Okay, next thing we're going to do is just slide it right in the hole. Alright, so once you have it there, you want to take it over to the bike. Okay, prior to installation, when you put the lever back on, just make sure you're careful with this little plunger here. This is for your clutch. It's a very brittle type of plastic here. So when you put the lever back on, make sure you're careful with this on not pushing down on it or pushing this way on it with the lever. because if you do damage it, you're gonna have to buy this whole new piece over here, and they may be pretty costly. So if anything, if you're gonna put on there, maybe you just want to just push it in and then put the lever on there, and then release it once the lever is securely over it. Okay, now before we put our lever on there, we want to get the bolt that you had taken out earlier, and then just also put a little bit of grease on it, just a light coating. Also, you may want to wipe down the area where your lever used to be, your old lever. Make sure you get all that old grease and that old dirt out of there, because you don't want none of that grime on your new levers, because then they'll prematurely wear out the parts. Pretty dirty in there. Okay, now let's install the new lever. Okay, what you want to do is flip over your lever, get the clutch cable here, pop it in the slot here, then once you get it in there like that, flip it over, alright, and then also get your bolt, press it all the way until it's flush with the part here. Okay, then pull your cable, your clutch cable, put it in the slots there, and then just pop it right back in here. Okay, once you get all that in there, just put your bolt back underneath right over here and tighten it down. Okay, now let's go ahead and start tightening up the clutch cable. Good point to start is to keep closing it until this little gap right here is closed. Okay, once you close that gap, just pull on the cable. Still pretty loose. You want to make sure that when you're tightening up your cable, it's not loose like that. It has a little bit of resistance. So let's keep going. Okay, a little bit of resistance right there. Okay, now that you have it to where you feel the resistance, you could adjust the lever. There is 6 adjustment points, 1 being closest to the hand grip and 6 being furthest. Just adjust what you feel most comfortable with. Okay, next you want to put your little bracket back onto the clutch cable with this Phillips screwdriver. Okay, that concludes our installation for the Shorty levers for the Suzuki GSXR 600. Special thanks to Bryant for letting me use his bike to do this installation video.